Noah Basketball is our new presenting sponsor of our Coaching You podcast. Noah Basketball is a shot tracking and data company that has helped change how coaches and players perfect the game's most important skill, shooting. Noah is a data service provider that uses machine learning and the latest computer vision technology to provide real-time data and feedback to improve shooting accuracy and consistency for professional and amateur basketball players. Noah has now analyzed over 570 million shots from countless high school, hundreds of college teams, and 28 NBA franchises. The technology is simply amazing. Once the system has been installed, players will be able to get immediate feedback on their shooting arc, left and right positioning, depth, makes or misses, and makes the data available to players and coaches on your mobile device. For more information about how Noah can help your team, visit noahbasketball.com. Hey, welcome to another Coaching You podcast with the coach, Brendan Sir, presented by Noah Basketball. Larry Shyatt's mastermind at the University of Florida this year did not disappoint, as always, extraordinary, incredible speakers that share with us. But he's been kind enough the last couple of years to let our Coaching You Plus members watch all the speakers. I think you're really going to enjoy the one that we want to share an excerpt from today. Let me tell you, Lamont Paris, the SEC Coach of the Year, University of South Carolina, is incredible. Absolutely a dog as a coach. And let me tell you, when he talked about culture and team building, he nailed it. So I think you're really going to enjoy him. We're going to share this excerpt with you. But for those of you that want to see his entire talk and also would like to see all the other speakers there, and want to see it on our Coaching You Plus app, mobile device, go to coachingyoulive.com/plus, PLUS, to see all the episodes, all the speakers on every clinic that we do. After a quick timeout, we'll be back with an excerpt on Lamont Paris. We're thrilled to have our longtime partners and friends at Dr. Dish Basketball on board as sponsors of the Coaching You podcast. Dr. Dish machines are undoubtedly the most user-friendly and advanced machines in the world of basketball today. Dr. Dish has completely revolutionized and reimagined the shooting machine to provide the best solution on the market. Join top programs around the world like Duke, North Carolina, Florida, and countless others and upgrade your shooting machine to Dr. Dish. Dr. Dish machines are the best way to increase purposeful reps in your program to get players better, faster, while tracking progress along the way. Dr. Dish provides so much more than just your standard shooting machines with custom training, pro trainers, and coaches on demand, real-time and detailed analytics, and top-of-the-line drills and workouts. If you're looking to take your program to the next level, look no further than Dr. Dish for the best basketball training machine in the world. If you have an old machine that's just collecting dust in your gym, did you know that you can trade that in to Dr. Dish for up to $1,500 off and get a new dish? Make sure to give our friends at Dr. Dish a follow at Dr. Dish B-Ball on Twitter and Instagram for great daily drills, workouts, tips, and inspiration. Or contact us at drdishbasketball.com. Don't forget to mention Coaching You or our podcast for $300 off your purchase. Coaches, are you looking to take your game preparation to the next level? Then Fast Model Sports is the perfect coaching software for you. With FastDraw, build an organized library of plays and drills and create professional playbooks to share with your players and staff. You can also download over 9,500 free plays and drills from our Playbank directly to your FastDraw account. Looking for a better way to build your scouting reports and want to include video? With Fast Scout, build custom scouting report templates to prepare your team best for each individual opponent. Plus, did you know with the latest updates from Fast Model Sports, you can now include video with your Fast Scout reports and share with your coaches and staff all within the Fast Scout mobile app. The combination of Fast Draw and Fast Scout is by far the best way for you and your coaches to create winning game strategies and effectively communicate them to your team. Over 10,000 high school and youth coaches trust Fast Model Sports products to help their teams reach their goals. To order, go to fastmodelsports.com. Use code COACHINGU15 to get 15% off any Fast Draw or Fast Scout products. Remember, go to fastmodelsports.com. Use code COACHINGU15 to get 15% off any Fast Draw and Fast Scout products.
What a great thing this is, just to be able to come and exchange ideas and information. I just don't think we do that enough in this profession, so I've been excited about coming down here for a long time. I was going to try to come last year, just didn't work out, but this year was great. So why do you come? Why do they have you speak, right? Well, you don't have a bad year typically or do a lot of bad things and they have you speak. So what did we do well? There were some on-court things that we did well. If you look statistically on the offensive side of the ball, we were 16th in the country in assist percentage, the percentage of our baskets that came off of an assist. Anybody that watched our team play, NBA guys in particular, but other teams would espouse about how much ball movement there was, how unselfish we were when we played the game. That was the offensive side of it. Defensively, we gave up the fewest points in our conference. Out of all those teams, we got some teams in our league that kind of hang their hat on. We defend really well, do a great job of that. We gave up the fewest amount of points of any team in our conference, okay? That takes more than anything. Both of those are good things, and when I get done with this, we can talk about anything anybody wants to know about basketball side of, well, what'd you do on ball screens? Or, well, how do you think you led the conference in fewest points? We definitely can get to there. To me, the most important thing, the thing that we did better than anything, was we played together as a team. We enjoyed our company with one another. And any of those things that I just mentioned that we accomplished offensively or defensively involved the fact that guys enjoyed one another's company, played well together, and played as a team. You don't do that defensively if you don't play as a team. You hear the word connected. They're connected as a unit. It only happens because you're a team. And we play a team sport, right? There are plenty of moments that individual abilities and talents will reign supreme. The vast majority of the game, it's a team game. In my estimation, and you'll hear a lot of different things here, these are things that have helped me. We did some really good things in a conference. I hate when people always say, we had the best conference. Well, I'm not saying we had the best conference, but I think anybody that's been in the SEC for a long time will say the SEC was better than the SEC has ever been, probably. And we did it in that year of the SEC, okay? So it was what we did as a team. My estimation is that playing as a team right now, in this day and age, has more value to it than it ever has in the modern era of basketball. When it was first invented, I guess when the give and go, somebody threw it, ran at a basket, and got it back and made a layup, it blew everybody's mind. I mean, team basketball at that point was probably pretty important. Right now, it's more important than ever, So much so, in my estimation, there's no statistic on this. As I watch games, as I'm in games, as far as talent goes, I feel as if you have 75% of the talent of the other team. If it's 50 or lower, it doesn't matter who, right? A middle school is never going to beat the Lakers. I don't care how well they play as a team. If you're within 75 to 80% certainly of talent of the team that you play, and you're better as a team, you should expect to win. We expect to win because we play better as a team. That's if we make a couple of shots here and there, right? The other thing that we did offensively, we generated the highest quality shots that I've ever been around in my entire career last season. Doesn't mean we scored the most. We had two guys, one of our most explosive three-point shooters shot 32% from three. We created incredible shots for him, though. We had a five-man that did the same thing. We created incredible shots. It was the highest quality shots that I've ever been around in my entire career. That only happens because you play as a team, okay? So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. As we go through some of these things, we can see how they are represented on the floor if anybody has any questions in terms of specific X's and O's, okay? I'll go all over the place with some of these nuggets. Some of these will make a lot of sense to a lot of people. Some people will say, I can never do that. I'm not going to do that, okay? This is my experience and is what sharing is. I'm sharing what I think has allowed us to do what we did. As Coach mentioned, we did the same thing at Chattanooga, and we were picked last. I'd like to say it's not because of the coaching. Maybe it was because of the players. Maybe the coaching was in there some. We were picked last in our league. We were one game away from being first alone. Had we beat Tennessee at home, we would have finished first alone after being picked last. We were last at Chattanooga. We were 10th place. We weren't 11th because it was only 10 teams. We were the worst team in year two, right? Year 1 and 2. We were cutting down nets in year 4 or year 5. Okay? All right, so that's what we did well. Roster construction and team building. Playing as a team, ultimate goal. Roster construction helps you lay the foundation to be able to do that, in my estimation. Certain rosters, you're never going to play as a team, or it would be very difficult. I think roster construction is a component that we overlook sometimes. Okay, so just some nuggets. They'll be out of order. Some of them will be chronological. If you have any questions, raise your hand or just blurt out, okay? Recruit who you like. That sounds very simple. Recruit who you like, right? Not what a ranking says, not who you're going to feel bad because the buddy in your league is watching the same kid and said, that guy sucks, and you like him. That's the reality of it. Recruit who you like. You got to have the cojones to do that. That's Spanish for like machismo, isn't it? Okay. You have to have some faith in what you do and have been doing your whole career and what you've been seeing and what you like. And what you like is what you like, right? I think if you take guys that you like also, you're more likely or less likely to be frustrated with that person. If you don't like them because they don't run fast, don't take them. Don't take them. If you really like them because they shoot the ball well, take them. And don't expect them to run fast. That'd be silly on your part, honestly, right? Take who you like for what they do, and then rejoice when they do the things. Allow them to do the things that they do well. You know it. They know it. They like doing it. You want them to do it. Expect that and rejoice when they do those things. I think it sets you up, okay? We had Stephen Clark, came from the Citadel, no high major offers. He was 15-2 or 13-2 as a starter for us. 13-2. He's going to tell his grandkids that. He was 13-2 as a starter for us. I'll go back to why he stopped starting for us here in a second. Colin Murray Boyles, first-team all-freshman. All SEC, or freshman, all freshman SEC, right? No high major offers. No high major offers, as in zero, right? I went and watched him. I'm not smarter than anybody. I watched him. I liked him. So the guy's got good hands. Jesus, he can pass. The guy knows where to be. He's got a good feel for the game. I liked him. You don't always know what they're going to turn into as a player, but I knew because I liked him, at some point, he would turn into a guy I was really happy that I had on my team. It happened sooner than what I thought, and sometimes it works out that way. B.J. Mack. This is a guy that had a lot of high major offers, but what I liked him in a way that was different than what most people liked him. I liked him in a way that you're going to play in a way that if you don't score and play well, we lose. That's what it's going to come down to. He wanted that. He liked that. right? It wasn't we can have this guy on our team who's going to play a role, he's going to come off the bench. We took him because we liked what he did. He had I know the exact number of dunks he had on the season. I got a hint for you. It's a round number. 0. So the starting center for an SEC team that finished in second place and goes to the NCAA tournament had 0 dunks, not one. I'm pretty confident he can dunk when it's all said and done. Don't tell him I said that. But 0 dunks on the whole season. We liked what he did. He shot threes. He could make them when he was open. It allowed us to play a certain way. I was never frustrated. Not one time all season was I frustrated because he didn't dunk, he didn't block a shot, and he didn't jump up in the crowd to snatch a rebound out of 10. I was never frustrated because of that. I knew it going into the fact, and I liked him. I still liked him, so I took him, okay? Here's something you're going to have to evaluate. Who's better versus who's better for you? Those are two completely different things oftentimes. Who's better? Well, the rankings got him as the 22nd player in the country. Who's better for you? In our system, say we like skilled inside players. They got to be able to dribble. They got to be able to pass. If they can shoot, it's a bonus. That's what we like. I got a runner jumper, number 11 in the country. It doesn't make it right because he's good or she's good. It doesn't make it right. I'm telling you, from my perspective, who's better or who's better for you? I would load up with, sometimes they both happen. What a magical moment that is. But I'd take who was better for you more often than not. Too much can be too much. Too much can be exactly what it is, too much. Sometimes, like if you think about the best gourmet meal in the world, right? What it's not is an assortment of the 5 most gourmet items on the planet. That's not what that meal is. It's not. Independently, Kobe beef is incredible ingredient. So is beluga caviar. So is white truffles. Those all 3 don't make the best meal in the world. They don't when it goes down that way. At some point, if you're going to have a Wagyu steak, you probably want some mashed potatoes on there. And the mashed potatoes serve a purpose, right? You heard Coach just talk about it. He said, what did he say? He said, T.J. McConnell. Every team needs T.J. McConnell. I didn't meet with him before this thing. Every team needs T.J. McConnell. Well, why does he say that? T.J. McConnell's their best player? He's a bucket? He's going to get 30? He's mashed potatoes. Hope he doesn't take offense to that if somebody ever sends it to him. He's mashed potatoes. And I'm telling you, there's a real role for mashed potatoes on your plate, my friends. And he knows it. That's why he says that about T.J. McConnell, okay? I already told Coach Painter, his wife, I was in Chattanooga for 5 years, and he and his wife went back to Chattanooga, and he asked me about some good spots to eat. And so, I mean, I told him, if you ever really want some advice from me, you ask me where to eat. I do know how to do that well above all else. So he probably didn't understand or anticipate we'd be talking about food when we came in here today. Okay, here's another one. 3 equals 0. And this is, and by the way, this information, by the time we get done filming this and I leave, it'll be defunct because the rules are changing by the second, okay? But as the rules stand today, for me, 3 equals 0. That's a very important one. 3 guys or gals on your roster have to be guys or gals that pretty much play 0 minutes. Pretty much. They may be here or there. It might, but as a general rule, they're probably going to have 0 next to it. Might be DNP. They're probably going to have 0, okay? All right. I think they kind of, sort of also have to know who they are. Remember, we're talking about putting this roster together so you can do what? Play as a team. Play as a team. Accept whatever's out there and have fun. Enjoy what's happening as a unit. Play for one another. It's a huge one. Share the ball is where it shows up. Be connected on defense is where it shows up. 3 people on your team kind of, sort of, got to be around that 0. Now, that can look a couple different ways. It can be red shirts. We had 2 kids red shirt last year. It can be red shirt candidates that might be on the bubble that are just young players that think they might be able to play a little bit, and then they get hit with reality when they get into college, and they're not going to be ready for another year. Maybe they'll turn into some mashed potatoes one day. I think you can recruit your mashed potatoes, by the way. And then there's one kid, everybody got that extra COVID year, and guys were in college. The guy that I know has been in college for the longest time, has been on my team for forever. His name's Justin. And he's one of those 3=0 guys. Justin, his last name is Case. Anybody got Justin Case on their team? Justin Case is a great 3=0 guy. We got one right now. He's incredible now. I'm telling you, he's incredible. He's an unbelievable student. He's a great teammate. He waves the towel hard. And just in case, if I got to put him in a game, I promise you I have no issues. I have not one issue. He knows our system. He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to be the first one to pick a guy up, right? But he's still, in his heart of all hearts, God bless him, he knows on most days it's 0 probably. Might not be. Might 2 guys run into each other. Somebody gets a concussion. He's got to go in. Foul trouble stacks up. Whatever it is, right? You're playing Purdue, and they got a giant on the inside, and he's got to go in there and burn a couple fouls. Whatever it is, just in case he's ready. Okay, so now you're dealing with 10 people in terms of trying to get it all together instead of trying to make 13 people happy all the time. Okay, transfers. It's a lot of transfers out there right now, right? In my estimation, transfers. Give them the role that they want, or don't take them. Here's a way to not have a happy camper on your – you bring a guy in, he wants to do this, that, and the other. You told him he's going to do this, that, and the other, and then he doesn't do it. His role's completely different. He's just in case. He's just in case. Oh, that's dangerous. I think if you're talking about, well, how do we play as a team? Great. How do I get one guy kubayaing with another guy and making plays for somebody else? How do I get that to happen the best? I don't know that that's the way. Commit to your commitments. Commit to your commitments, particularly your prized recruits. Okay? It's hard to have the number 30 player in the country be just in case also. It's hard. And we're in a world where there's so many transfers out there, you can make a commitment to a kid. He makes or she makes a commitment to you. They're the 35th player in the country, and then you get the top 3 guys out of the portal, or girls, out of the portal. That is not setting up in terms of roster. So what we do, honestly, it's a little bit different maybe. If I get a guy that's or a prized recruit, so to speak, I pencil him in to start. I do. Now, if he goes out there and the lights come on and he spits up all over himself, we get out there and we mop it up and we put a bib around his neck and try it again and see what that looks like. Ultimately, I liked that player. I didn't like his ranking. I liked the player. I believed in the player. He happens to be ranked that high. I'm slating him in for a specific role. Now, at some point, if it doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen. But I think it's a good way in terms of developing your roster so that you can play well as a team. Okay? And then I think identification of your important basketball values. We have only really a couple. One is basketball character. Well, what is basketball character? I don't know. There's some people in life that are really good, have really good character. Right? They're going to go to the grocery store and somebody in front of them is going to drop a $20 bill out of their pocket and they're going to hustle, pick it up, and give it to them. They go to church. They're going to be a great dad, father, mother. They're going to be great. They have an incredible character. Great people. Terrible basketball character. Terrible. I think we do a bad job of evaluating basketball character. I think we shove basketball character to the side. Now, we'll all talk about, oh, I can't believe that guy did that. He's got a gun charge, or I can't believe he was caught doing that. Well, we know that. Well, some of those guys or gals, I'm not encouraging, might have incredible basketball character. They may have incredible basketball character, but you're willing to make the decision on their real character. I find we are very reluctant to make a decision on someone's basketball character, which wins the day, I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, when you're trying to talk about playing as a team, okay? Stephen Clark started 15 games for us. We played a lot more games than that, okay? I get a knock on my door, true story. I get a knock on my door. He comes in. Coach, he's beating around the bush. It's, I don't know what's had. He was up to something. Yeah, what'd you have for dinner last night? He wants to tell me something. Okay, he gets into it. He says, Coach, what do you think if Colin Murray Boyles, our freshman, what do you think about moving Colin into the starting lineup and bringing me off the bench? What do you think about that? He says that to me. That is basketball character. Right? Now, little did he know that train was about to come down the tracks. Either way, I got news for you. Don't tell him that. But he came to my office under his own volition and said that to me. That helps. I'm telling you, it helps. That's a guy who had no high major offers, guys. Okay? That's one. Basketball character, top of my list. Two, and pretty much the only other one, I'm looking for something it used to happen all the time. When you offered a scholarship, when you even made a phone call to it, guys, they'd get so excited. There was an appreciation and a gratitude for what they're doing right now that does not exist anymore. It's a rare find. It's a rare find, okay? I value appreciation and gratitude. I value it. Well, how do you do that? How do you know if a guy's appreciative? How do you know if a guy, because he said thank you because you offered him a scholarship? No. Here's how I go about intentionally as I build my roster, probably things we never thought about. As I build my roster to play as a team and be unselfish and share the ball and be connected on defense, I'll take a couple guys that I like, by the way, that the entire world's going to tell me aren't this level. I promise you, they will be appreciative. They will be appreciative. Who knows how long that lasts? Do they end up playing? Or are they what? They will be appreciative. It's built in. International players. If you look at my rosters over the years, I have at least one. I got two from Finland, one from Belgium right now. I've had two Nigerians, an Angolan, a Serbian. They have a different level of appreciation for this opportunity that we do not have as much as Americans right now. I think we can get back to it. I hope we can get back to it. But right now, as it stands, international kids do. And so I like them. I'm going to have one on my roster at almost all times, okay? Here's the other one, roles. A guy for a different role. I talked about BJ, right? BJ had a lot of interest. BJ had a lot of offers. I don't know that anyone really had that role for him. Hey, we're going to sink or ship or swim based on you, BJ, and how it looks for you shooting the ball 8 times, 10 times every game, right? Role is another one. Malachi Smith was another one. He developed into the player of the year in the Southern Conference for us at Chattanooga. He was a secondary guy at Wright State, right? Had never played the point guard in his whole life. 6'4" guy. He was infatuated with the NBA. All of them are. He was infatuated, I mean for real, with the NBA. I said, Mally, I think the best way, your best chance, you're 6'4", you got a big body, you're strong. I said, I think if you played a point, it's your best chance. He'd never played a point in his whole life, right? We provided a different role for him. We provided a different role. He was extremely appreciative of what that role was. He thrived in it. Again, you don't know that it happens that way. You don't. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I think that's a way you can build in appreciation into your roster, and I think it's important if you're going to talk about playing as a team, okay? All right, so that's the team. You've got the team put together, all right? Then are there things that you do to once you get that team, they still could not play as a team necessarily. I think the odds are a little higher based on how you constructed the roster, okay? There's principles when it comes to team building, in my estimation, and then there are actions that are used to fortify those principles, okay? A couple of the principles that I've learned, and it's changed. These kids are different today. Stan Van Gundy, who had, I think we were mirroring each other in terms of our defensive philosophies and a lot of those things, probably is completely opposite to me in some of these things I'm about to say, right? Kids are different. It's a different generation, not better or worse. I continually remind them of what their generation and why they think the way that they do, and I do it in a way that they don't feel like somebody's throwing darts at them. They're already getting enough darts thrown at them when they put on Instagram what new shoes they bought. Oh, you got those? Those are Willy Bobos. So when they tell them what they had for dinner last night, when they say what their girlfriend looks like, they're already getting darts thrown at them. So I do it in a way where it's not darts. But they must feel good. I'm just telling you, in my estimation, they must feel good. They have to. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Well, what do they have to feel good about? All right, what's out there? Minutes, shots, roll. No. They don't have to feel good about their minutes. They don't have to feel good about their shots. They don't even really necessarily have to feel good about their role. Here's what they do need to feel good about. They need to feel good about their opportunity. What did you evaluate them? Do they play? Do they get to do this? Do they get reps at it? They need to feel good about their opportunity. They need to feel good about their value that they add to the team. And most importantly, they need to feel good about their relationship, particularly with the head coach, but with the staff in general, I think, okay? So the action plans for some of those things. One, develop relationships. Develop relationships. Well, we developed a relationship. We got him here. We recruited. Bull. Garbage. The recruiting relationship is just a gateway to a real, actual relationship. Particularly now, why? Any ideas? The recruitment process is so short. You used to watch a kid in 9th grade, 10th grade. The whole league would be watching the same kid for years and years and years. You knew everything. They picked you and they're like, hey, I like this guy or gal. That's who I'm going to play for. Now it's transactional. And most times it's transactional. This is what they have. This is what they can give me. This is what it looks like. Yes and no. And take the player on your team that has the shortest window. And you're going to be shocked at how short that window was, right? Those are not real relationships, okay? You have to develop real relationships with them, okay? Here's the action plans to doing that. Be vulnerable to me. I think you got to be vulnerable around them. Make fun of yourself. I do that sometimes accidentally, but I do that on a regular basis. Here's a fact. I make physical contact with every single player, every single practice. And I bet you not one of them knows that. I bet you not one of them knows that. Every single player, every single practice, I make physical contact with them during the course of the practice. Every single day. Never fails. Okay? Examples. Meechie Johnson for us, right? He called me 2 weeks ago. He's now transferred to back to Ohio State, right? He was our leading scorer. Called me 2 weeks ago. Oh, coach, just checking in. Man, things are so good. I love you. His uncle called me 2 days ago, texted me. I was on the SEC Network. They did a thing, a little preview for the season. His uncle saw it, snapped a picture, said, I love you, bro. Those are real relationships. Well, Meechie left anyway. Guys, it's one-year contracts for everybody. You understand? That doesn't have anything to do with it. When Meechie gets married, I promise you, he will ask me to be at his wedding. It's a real relationship. And what it allowed was not, it didn't prevent him from leaving. Okay, that's another whole story. I hope we're not here saying, what can we do to make sure none of our players ever leave? It's 2024. It's 2024. You're not wearing the same underwear you were wearing yesterday, I hope. They're going to change schools. There's things out there. There's more money here. There's the better deal there. It's just what it is. But what did happen, I should say, he played. He listened. He was a teammate. He was the best teammate he's ever been in his whole life. I promise you, his uncle would say the same exact thing. He was the best teammate he's ever been in his whole life while he was there because of real relationships. Okay? Here's some other actions. Keep it moving. Summer tour. If you can, whenever you can do one, I would do one. Okay? But here is my evaluation of the foreign tours. The foreign tours are not about anyone? Basketball. The foreign tours are not about basketball. This guy's crazy. What are you talking about? You're only going on a foreign tour to play basketball. The foreign tours aren't about basketball. We, in fact, were supposed to play 3. There was an option to play 4 games. There was an option to play 4 games. They wanted us to play 3. We played 2. We played 2 games while we were down there. I had one day where they had 0 responsibilities. I'd never done this before. No, they didn't have to come up for breakfast. They didn't have to meet at lunch. They didn't have to check in for anything. They had one day where there was nothing. They were not forced to be with anyone. They could do whatever they wanted. Now, I'll tell you, I hope you have basketball character figured out, and real character probably too, if you're going to do that. But we had one day they had nothing to do. And lo and behold, I go down to the casino. I don't do it much. I go down to the casino that night, and wouldn't you know, the entire team, and I come to find out they had spent the whole day together. Okay? That's an action that I think when you're doing those things allows them to figure themselves out. Okay? But I think it's not about that. Summertime to me is about them. They probably don't necessarily want to be there. Summertime to me is about them. If you're wanting to play as a team and get guys feeling good about one another and sharing the ball and doing it, summertime's about them, okay? So the 2 things we emphasized above all else in the summer. 1, individual and offensive improvement. Individual offensive improvement. Well, what does it look like? I use the word explore. Hey, let's explore what it looks like for you to do that right there. No one's ever said you can do that. Let's see. That's what the summertime's for, guys. Nothing counts other than an accumulation of information and data that says, okay, at one point, bud, you cannot do that. And hopefully you don't have to tell him that if you allow him to try it some. To me, okay? Offensive individual improvement, and then how does that all come together as a team, right? All of it was offense. That's why in the summertime, I am not a proponent of coaching defense in the summer. Very little defense. In fact, all I did for defense in the summertime, mind you, we gave up the fewest points in the SEC. No summertime defense did we do. This is, again, these are suggestions. These are nuggets. Somebody's going to say it makes sense. Somebody's going to think, I smoked something funny on the way over here today. All right? Okay? All right. What we did put in for defense, ball screen D. I put a basic ball screen D in and just say, here's what one of them looks like. We're going to try to do this. I did that more for the organization so that they could play and not yell at each other. Well, you going to switch it? No, you go out there. Well, he said go over there. They know what they're supposed to do on the ball screen. Whether they did it well or didn't do it well, nobody cares, right? They're on to the next thing pretty quickly. But there's organization, and everybody kind of knows what it was. Ball pressure or no ball pressure, right? I have the same, almost same exact terminology as Stan. I say, work the ball as much as you can relative to your quickness, advantage, or disadvantage, right? You got to figure that out yourself. And I throw that out there, and they can do that. And I don't yell at them for it, and if they don't do it well, they're probably just going to lose when we play. Okay? Switches or no switches, whatever you want to do, we don't switch a lot. There's plenty of times that we definitely switch and we have to switch, but generally speaking, I didn't call it this. What did Stan call it? Scouting matchup integrity. Matchup integrity. I like that. I'm going to use that. Why do we do the scouting report and we focus, who am I going to be guarding this week? Oh, I'm going to be on this guy all week until any sort of interaction happens and then I'm not guarding him again, for the whole possession. So we don't switch. So we don't yell at them for that. I just kind of say, hey, when you're playing, try to guard your man. Switch if you have to. Try to guard your man. That's all defense is for us in the summer. That's all defense is. Well, why do you do that? Okay, 2 main reasons. 1, it stops me from yelling at them. It doesn't matter if I'm taking defense seriously, which I'm only going to take it seriously, or completely ignore it. There's nothing in the middle. I think it's probably the same for most of us, right? So if I'm going to coach D, I'm going to coach D. So I don't coach D. I don't yell at them. I just simply don't. I do way more encouragement of good offensive things that they do in the summertime. Okay, not a whole lot of yelling. The other thing, I think it's good for the offense, for the development of your offense. I think it's good for the offense to be ahead of the defense. So yeah, I want some confusion a couple times. I want things to break down. I want them to not perform the ball screen action great, so that we get some good things happening offensively out of the ball screen. Encourage them. Build real confidence on that. And once the season starts, I turn into a different person. I tell them. And I'm honest with them. That's the other thing Stan said. I am so dead honest. Oh, it sounds like you're over there and everything's about fun. Bull. Nope, it's not all about fun. It is fun. Fun's in disguise. I say that a lot. Fun is in disguise. You're going to have to dig way down deep on some days to find that fun, but it's fun when it's all said and done, okay? But we'll get the defense together, but you can do it in a way that when you then coach them like that, like they get regulated. Trust me, I don't yell at them in the summer. But when we get to doing our thing, when I raise my voice, I don't do it a whole lot. But when I do, you better trust and believe behaviors alter instantaneously. And then we get back to doing our normal thing. Our normal thing is good. They enjoy it. They must feel good, okay? I don't appoint leaders, really. I think it kind of sort of works its way out. In a perfect world for me, I like it by committee. I don't think there's a lot of freshmen that end up being leaders. Normally it's going to be some older people. Here's why I like it to be by committee personally, is that, you got one guy that's your captain or your leader, and then when he's out of the game, what happens when the huddle's going on? You got 2 other guys fighting for that. Like, it works its way out. There's I'll help guide it the kind of way that you want it to. It's normally going to be some older guys that play and kind of know some things, but that works its way out on its own. I think the other thing that it does, it lets everybody feel like they're part of that. Well, where are you at in the whole deal? He's captain. I think we got 3-4 people that feel like, and the young guys don't need it. Colin Murray Boyles, who started all those games for us at the end, he didn't need to be a leader. He knew he wasn't a leader. But he was looking at Michie Johnson. He was looking at B.J. Mack. He was looking at Talon Cooper. He was looking at those guys. Hey, what? What'd you say? Right? And he will be that guy at some point. And I won't have to say that it's him. It'll just work out that way, okay? Here's another thing. I think you have to do this. This is a thing that's hard for us to do. It's very difficult. You have to give up part of the team. I think if you want this, I'm not saying you have to do it. You can do whatever you want. If you want this, if you want to have a better chance of this kind of stuff, and I'm telling you, there's people who have done it longer than me, for sure. I have done it a while, though, and it was the best. It was in the top 2 synergy I've ever been around this past year. You have to give up a part of the team, okay? And unfortunately, the part that you have to give up, it's the big part. It's the biggest part of it, okay? All right?